You need to actively make the effort to keep your way from her, the one we read about in verses 3 through 6 and spent a couple of weeks on, and do not come near the door of her house. Some of you don't recognize the addiction that you have. Ooh, don't be mean to us, Rabbi. If you were an alcoholic, you know you can't enter a bar. You can't enter a place where people are drinking because the temptation would be problematic. If you see people drinking, you know you need to turn around and get away from that. All addictions are like that. I just use alcohol because it's a very simple one to mention that most people understand. Even if you've never been in that place, you've seen it, you've experienced it through other people, so you understand. But all addictions work the same. In other words, once you recognize the addiction, you have to avoid any possibility of spending any time near or around it because you will be tempted to do it, to partake. And so a lot of you are watching teachers or listening to stuff or videos or whatever it is or hanging out with people that are going to tempt you like the woman with the lips. Okay, I'm not just talking about the secular stuff here. I'm talking about this stuff. This is stuff where he's saying, my son, you've been instructed, but there'll be those who you'll run into that are going to pervert and twist the instruction, and it's going to sound good to you. You're being instructed here. He says, keep your way far from her and do not come even near her door. Because some of you thinking, I can handle it. I'm strong. It doesn't bother me. I'm not going anywhere. And then later on, I'm like, where did so-and-so go? Anybody seen him? Anybody seen her? Gone. Because you think, just like that alcoholic or whoever it is, whatever it is you have a problem with, I can just handle one beer. No, you can't. You're addicted. Someone who's not addicted, yes. But generally, you are, and I think this is something we can all admit, whatever your addiction is, there's a blind spot there where it takes a long time for you to realize you actually are addicted. So you think you can handle what you can't handle. And you will blindly, because of that blind spot, you will argue with everybody, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm not a whatever-aholic, I'm not addicted to whatever it is I'm addicted to. I can handle it. Isn't that what they all say? What are you talking about? I'm handling it just fine. No, not really. And that goes for all the addictions, okay? I'm just using one as an example. And so if you have that, if alcohol is your thing, I'm not picking on you. It's just one of the more commonly understood ones. It makes for a good example. But trust me, all addictions are equally insidious, debilitating, and wrecking of lives. Okay? I'm using one for the example. And so he's telling you here, he says, look, do not come near the door of her house, because you will be tempted by the honey lips, by the temptation of that thing that sounds good to you, because it appeals to your self-sovereignty, which I'm talking about is not it appeals to you because it lets you be in charge. It appeals to you because it's what you would prefer. It's the way you would rather things be. And I don't know about you, but I counsel a lot of people that they call me after they've already watched 15 other teachers on a particular topic, fishing and searching for that one teacher definitively to give them the confidence that what they want is right. Because they're really not looking just for what is right. They're looking for someone to say that what they prefer is actually right. And if they hear too much confusion, they keep looking for some teacher that they finally believe maybe they'll recognize the authority of and hope that they'll agree with them. I watched this, the first time I've ever seen this, I remember when I came into my only church experience, and the place that I went to was a Torah observant place, etc., in the context of Messiah, but that place had a pastor leave and a new one come in. And we had a little Bible study and people got to write up questions with for the new pastor to answer. And absolutely, and this happened more than once. We had one, they moved them around, whatever. Every time we got a new pastor, the questions were always to see if the pastor would allow them to do what they want to do. Well, is it okay to blah, 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 blah? Because they're looking for someone to say, yeah, it's okay to do what you want to do. Because they know the other pastor didn't let them do it. And so some of you do that with the internet. The internet is much easier than having to sit in a room and ask somebody, or the rabbi or the pastor in front of the room. Just go on the internet and find teachers. Look up your subject, the subject of marriage and divorce, the subject of, how the calendar works, the subject of whatever. And you're going to find every possible spectrum of teaching from every part of the possible ways to approach it. And that's why I've told you over and over again, you need to find a teacher. That doesn't mean you can't listen to other things, but you need a teacher to go to that you trust enough to say, hey, teacher, I had this thing I was watching and I did this, and I'm not sure what to do now. And that teacher could say, well, here's what you need to do, and you trust it. Now, if you don't have a teacher like that, you just keep looking. You need to find one that you can do that with. But don't just keep looking for, and I've told you guys this many times, I don't like people who call me as part of an opinion poll. If you want counsel, I'd love to give you counsel. And I'm not just wanting to give you an opinion to add to your list. Okay, I've got 14 yeses and 13 no's. Yeah. Oh, Rabbi, I got 12 and 12. I need someone to break the tie. Well, go watch 20 more videos. We have to be careful of our addictions, okay? We're all addicted to us, ourselves.